A few days ago, I took the GoPro Hero 12 and the Max Lens Mod 2 from GoPro out for a run. Fell in love with it. So today I took it out cycling. I want to share some of those cycling clips with you. I'm going to focus perhaps less on the features of the camera and more on what the camera is able to get me. So it's important to say that when you put the Max Lens Mod 2 on, there's only three fields of view you've got, which is Max Hyperview, Max Superview, and Max Wide. You're also limited in the aspect ratios as well. So we're limited to 16:9 widescreen, 9:16, which is vertical, and then strangely 4:3 traditional. So while out cycling, I kept everything in 16:9. I didn't do vertical. I certainly didn't do any 4:3, but I did run through the different field of view settings that we have to see which one I liked the most. I'll tell you now, I didn't like wide very much. Wide, which is the narrowest field of view, felt very much like a normal GoPro. I did a bit of testing with that, but not so much. I really focused on Hyperview and Superview, and I'll give you my thoughts on which one I prefer out of those two. So I'm going to let these shots play longer than maybe I'd normally play them to enable you to see how Horizon Lock is working. I haven't touched any of this in post. This is exactly how it came out the camera. Take a look, see what you think. So in order to keep this as consistent as possible, I want a bite mount at the end of my aero bars. I can hold it out further, like this, and it's bouncing around all over the place. I'm interested to see what Hypersmooth does here. Now the same on Superview, held at the end of my aero bars. Hold it out. Of course, now I go into shade. I'll be really interested in the microphones here as well. Superview at arm's length. Same again, but just wide. So I'm very interested to know what you think. Three different views. My favorite is this one. This is Superview. Microphones are on standard. Wind filters on auto, which I imagine is really screwing up my audio right now. Now I could have mic'd up with a lavalier. I've done that before with biking, and it actually works pretty well. But I wasn't really planning on going out and doing this today. Didn't think it through. Didn't plan ahead. Back in Hyperview, I've turned the wind filter off because with it on auto, it keeps changing. So this is Superview, and the wind filter on the microphone I've turned to on. Got some deer up ahead. I can hear wind noise in my ears, but can you hear it? End of the road, better brake. So I've been cycling and recording now for about 45 minutes. And I think I'm still showing 50% battery life. I have to reluctantly agree. They've done something to improve their battery life significantly. I really hope it's not the GPS chip removal, because I want them to put them back in version 13. Or I'll just get used to not having it. And all the benefits of this over my previous GoPros. I could live without GPS if I had to, but if someone else comes up with an action camera that delivers all this and has GPS in it, not in a remote, not in an app, not relying on my cell phone, in the camera, GoPro may lose me as a customer. Now, GoPro's not going to care about one customer, but human behavior, if I'm thinking that way, somebody else might be as well. I took a wrong turning. I've done this route before. I need to put my camera down. Firstly, I'm really pleased with how Horizon Lock and Hypersmooth 6.0 is working in this camera. And I think it just brings a bit more of a dynamic look to the rider, in this case me. And really, I was looking at Hyperview and also Superview, and I found that that effect was really absorbing in both of them. But for cycling, I think Superview is my favorite. Forget wide. Superview is my favorite. And the reason for that is there were times when more of me was in the foreground, particularly my arms. And with Hyperview, it kind of got very distorted. And also when I pull the camera to one side to try and get a good shot of me on the bike, I think that worked. But the Hyperview started to look more like a 360 camera footage that had been partially reframed. It looked a little bit sort of out of worldy, like you get with 360 footage. So I'm going to say Hyperview has its place. Maybe if you are skiing, you're snowboarding, perhaps you're surfing, certainly when you're running. But when you're cycling like I was doing there, I don't think I would use Hyperview. I think I would stick with Superview. And that was my favorite one of the three. The only benefit I see of having wide on here is, frankly, I don't need to take the lens off my GoPro Hero 12 anymore. I can leave that Max Lens Mod 2 on there pretty much all the time. And if I want to use it more like a normal GoPro, I don't have to muck around taking that lens off and storing it somewhere and putting the original cover back on. I can just set it into wide, and then if it's in wide, I get normal footage. This was not an audio test. I am planning on doing an audio test in the next few days, but I was intrigued by how good I thought the sound was coming out of this GoPro. The only thing I did was make those three changes: have the wind filter on auto, have it on, and have it off, and that was pretty much it. Honestly, none of them are suitable for broadcasts, but I did like how it was able to pick out my voice separate from the wind. Even though there's a lot of wind noise, I think in all three settings, it was pretty easy to hear what I was saying. Let me know what you think. I'd be really curious to know what you think of the audio on this. Maybe I should have put some cool music in the background for some of it, but I really wanted to hear what was happening on the video, which is why I left it as it is. So having now run and cycled with Hero 12, Max Lens Mod 2, I'm completely converted. Definitely keeping them. Definitely going to have them as my main GoPro camera of choice going forward. I'm selling my Hero 9. Might sell my 10 actually and get another 12. But let's see. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this is useful and informative. If it was, please let me know in the comments below. Please do like and subscribe. Really helps the channel an awful lot, but you know that already. Thank you and see you in the next video.